Hey Bob, what do we got?
Well, the folks at Midwest Industries sent us out a set of M-Lok handguards to try out on this M70 today. So what we're going to do is we are going to yank these ugly plastic things off of here and replace them with some goodness so we can attach some things like a vertical grip, maybe even something optical to put on top.
That sounded good. Can't wait. Let's get going.
Let's get to it. Alright, so first things first, let's open up the packaging and see what they included.
We got a top rail, top cover, has a M-Lok for attaching M-Lok accessories on the top, and a bottom part. It has M-Lok on the bottom and two sides.
Alright, we got a doohickey, looks like a barrel clamp to me.
This looks familiar from the setup that I put on my Zastava.
They included all the nuts and washers, or at least the screws that we're going to need, and some blue Loctite.
Yeah, they did include Loctite, which is cool.
Looks like we have a 5-panel piece M-Lok rails part for it.
And we got some instructions.
Alright, looks like there's a couple addendums that came with that one.
Alright, well, it says step 1, Bob. Please make sure your firearm is unloaded and pointed in a safe direction.
Alright, we're pointed in a safe direction and verifying that the chamber is clear.
It is. Guess what step number 2 is, Bob?
Well, knowing it's Midwest Industries, it's go back to number 1.
That's right.
So, you know what? Something I do anyway.
That's a good idea. So we are working with a safe weapon. So let's field strip it.
That's right.
We're going to take out the gas piston and the bolt. I like watching you work, Bob.
Because you're not doing it.
I like watching other people work whenever I can. It's fascinating.
Alright, and so we've got that free and clear. And now we need to take off the handguards.
Okay.
So we've got this detent pivot. We're just going to pull that up.
Okay.
Into the neutral position, which puts that in about the 1030. That pulls right off there.
Now see, what I did with the Zastava, Bob, was I was able to just hold the handguard in my hand, and the back here where the piston goes has a flat, and I was able to just twist this off of here like so, and then once it comes all the way around, you can just push it right off of there.
Right.
Just like that.
Perfect.
Alright, Bob, so I got the plastic off. What do you got?
So we've got the lower handguard here, and you'll notice that we've got a little tab right here, and we are going to pry that up. And so just kind of lift that, push that forward, and now we've got this front handguard retaining piece right here. We can just slide that forward.
Should we take
I think you're thinking what I'm thinking. But first, right now, what we need to do is we need to remove our cleaning rod.
There you go.
You don't remove that, you're not going to be able to get it taken apart. Okay, and so now we've got that slid forward. Now we can just slide that handguard right off there.
Oh yeah. Look at there.
So, we've got the M70 broke down into the most basic pieces that we're going to need here to start putting the new pieces on.
Set the lower section, the 3-sided of the handguard, onto the barrel.
Okay, that sounds simple enough. And which side's going to be forward? Looks like that will be forward.
Okay.
And I think it's going to sit in there like that.
Alright. Place the handguard clamp on the lower section and start the provided screws. Finger tighten, do not make too snug. Use provided thread lock. So, so this little puppy is going to go down in there like so, and it looks like it is not directional because everything is centered, so that's just going to go right down in there.
Perfect.
And then we're going to get out our screws. And we have some screw heads with a taper. Those are going to be for the handguard pieces mating together. The barrel clamp uses these longer screws and the larger Allen wrench. And we've got the provided tube of Loctite. Going to cut the tip off of the Loctite tube and apply a little bit of blue Loctite to each one of these.
Great thing about blue Loctite is if we ever need to remove these handguards for any sort of maintenance, we will be able to get them off here. I find the red Loctite to be a little bit troublesome.
Especially on smaller fasteners like this. Now when it says not to tighten, don't make too snug, apparently we're going to have to make some other adjustments here. So we're just really just kind of putting them in there and setting them down.
Now that is in place. We've got a little bit of wiggle here. I know that we're going to be able to adjust that. We're not down too tight, but so we can see.
And you place that back and put the lever back.
That's right.
Now it says to reinstall the gas tube.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so our gas tube is reinstalled.
Now we have the top cover, and so we are going to install that. So the holes that are in the side of this are going to line up with the pre-drilled holes there. It's going to look something like that.
Here's what I'd like to do, Bob. At this point, since we have that set on there, why don't we put this in the rest, and we'll level our receiver, and then we'll also level the top of the handguard. All right, Bob, so what I've done is we've just got some levels from the shop here. And so I have a big level that I put across the receiver, and we've leveled the receiver in our little workstation here. Right. But I can see that our handguard, now see the top part of the handguard goes over and sets on the bottom rail, and it kind of references there. We went across there and I can see that we're a whole bubble off.
Right.
So we're going to just tilt this thing until, bam.
I think you hit it.
I think just right there. So I am just touching the line, and we are just touching the line. Let me look for a little bit more tight precision there, and just goes right there, and I like it. So we've got the Loctite on those screws already, and we are going to tighten these down. You know, Bob, it is cool that Midwest Industries includes all the correct Allen wrenches.
Sure does make it a whole lot easier than having to dig through the bag of them that we have.
That's right. And we're not going to tighten these down until we get them all started. And once again, we're going to tighten them up in a crisscross fashion. And they've all snugged and centered. Now we're going to give them a good cinch. Alright, Bob. So we got the last screw there. Pretty is tight.
That feels about as solid as one can get. That feels like it's one with the rifle. No slop, no play. But you know what? According to their addendum, we've got just a small little problem there. It's not a big problem. We could probably live with that going on there. But they recommend chopping down that grenade launcher front sight so we can rest right there on that front band.
You know, I don't think it's that bad, Bob. It all depends on if you want this real estate, this M-Lok real estate or not.
Right.
I almost want to think that I wouldn't want to do that irreversible change. And when I first read that, I thought, well, yeah, that's going to be an issue. But I think we can make her go without it.
I bought this 7-piece rail, which is not necessary really for that right there, because all we need is one. For like an EOTech.
We're gonna want full engagement on the EOTech, on the clamping surfaces, and it sure looks to me like we have full engagement there. Yep. Yeah.
So that provided 5-slot will definitely work if you're running an EOTech.
Yep. So if you wanted to have full use of the front slot on the M-Lok, then you would probably have to cut the front side. But I don't think we're going to cut the front side on this one today, Bob.
So even if you did order like a MAGPUL 7-piece slot, that will too work on there without having to cut your side.
What do you think about? So this is a MAGPUL 7-piece. What do you think about using it? Do you want to use it, or do you want to use the polymer one? I kind of like this one because it's aluminum.
It's aluminum, and we can also go through and we can adjust how far forward or how far back that we want that optic. I like it. Now look at that.
I like it. It kind of gives it a smooth ramping of that transition.
Makes it a little bit more aerodynamic. Hey, but you know what? We're not quite done.
What do you got?
Got a vertical grip.
Over there.
And this is their M-Lok pattern grip that MAGPUL offers. It's a shorty, stubby one. So, this did not come with a tool.
It did not. And it should have, it's going to be a long handled one to get in there. Well, we went to go install this MAGPUL shorty M-Lok vertical grip, and guess what? Our Allens are actually shorter than the grip, so we couldn't get in there. So I had to root around deep, Bob, and I found
some rusty gold.
I found some rusty gold. I found a long handled Allen wrench here, so I could reach down in there. And I haven't used these since, I think I brought these home from the service when I was in the service. Now, one thing you're going to want to do, Bob, is actually establish where you want this positioned at.
Right.
So why don't you simulate where you want it to be?
Probably about as far forward
Okay.
as that can go.
All right.
Want me to pull up on that while you're trying to screw
Oh, I
it
think
down?
I got it. Just sometimes they would just want to come back straight up. If you got to get them through the slot, but not too far, so that they're free to spin. All right. Why don't you try that, Bob?
Ooh, yeah. That's the right spot right there.
Excellent.
So with that front rail on there right there, you cannot utilize your irons. Once that's on there, you know, that puts it right in there in that sight picture. So if you plan on using a backup, this may not be the option for you. Now, there's that. Oh yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool.
That does raise the cheek well pretty high. It'll be interesting to see how that feels actually shooting.
Right, it's not going to feel as comfortable. We'll give that a try. If that doesn't work, we do have some other optics that we can try that that might work on that have a forward focal length on it.
So what do you think of this, Bob?
Right now, I'm really excited about it. I wonder.
I like the look and I like the feel, and it is very solid. You know, getting rid of the rail surfaces, like the one I put on my Zastava has rails, and then you got to put the covers on. I really like the M-Lok. It's nice and smooth. Having the option to put like this vertical foregrip without rail adapters or anything is really nice. And it's rock solid. It's very nice. The only caveat that I can see right now would be the fact that if you had to remove your gas tube for cleaning, then you're going to have to take this off, and you would have the chance of changing your zero on your optic, changing that. It should seat back in the same way, but you know, we Loctited those in. That may be difficult. If for any reason you had to take your gas tube off, then you're going to have to take this handguard off.
Right.
But it's very solid, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it's there's going to be some give and there's going to be some take, and what I don't know is I don't think is this going to go back in.
Oh yeah, I can see that it ramps down a little bit on the barrel clamp. The barrel clamp does push it down a little bit, and the cleaning rod is not quite able to go back in there. So that's,
so if you want to put that in there, that's probably have to find another option to make that work.
Yeah, you might have to. A person might file the bottom of that barrel clamp to do that. Maybe Midwest will incorporate a little relief in there on that to allow for the cleaning rod. But it's really solid. It looks a lot better, and it feels better. And we have the option now that you can mount a light, laser, or what have you to the side or to the bottom or the top of the thing.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I think it's a great product, and if there's a couple more minutes of light, might actually try shooting it.
All right.
Excellent.
Not helping.
So we've got the Midwest Industries handguard installed right now, and we're going to give this a try. We're going to fire a few rounds at the box down here, hoping for a minute of box. If everybody's got their ears in, just going to send a few rounds. I don't like it. You know what I don't like? I don't know if you can see the optic through the glass. We're just sitting way too high, and there's no cheek weld on this at all, and you have your head up. It's really in an awkward position. The Midwest Industries handguard is a win. EOTech on top of it with this particular mount, it's just sitting too high. I think we're going to have to find a different type of mount and just rock something else.
Well, Bob, that handguard is rock solid. It's unfortunate that EOTech didn't work out the way you wanted it, though.
Well, like you mentioned earlier when we're out there trying it, you know, this is really made for the height of for an AR-15.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those particular height sight, but you know, on this particular weapon platform, it just did not cooperate.
It's just too high. It just feels awkward. So there's plenty of other options. You know, Midwest makes a different top, and I have that for my Zastava that an aim point micro mounts right to, and it's nice and low. And if we take this off, we can still use the open sights.
Absolutely.
So let's get that rail off there. Oh, you have another option.
So the EOTech didn't work.
Nope. Too high.
I was looking at something at SHOT Show that intrigued me. The See-All. That sits down a little bit lower. And this might be a review for a different day, but for now I'm just kind of curious if how that sight picture might work. And you know what? That might actually work.
I'll try that. I still think it might be a little bit high.
It might be a little bit high.
You know, part of the problem, Bob, is a little bit exaggerated by the folding stock here. There's never a really good, comfortable cheek weld on that anyway.
Yeah, and that's just part of the M70 design. You know, had this been a stocked version, you know, it could be a whole different story. But for now, I think we'll probably just run without an optic until I find an option that's going to sit down low enough that I can actually use this comfortably, and you know, we'll just go from there. And of course, we've got that tightened down real good. Just want to verify how well our sights work with this. I have no doubt that we'll be able to see through it.
Sure.
But for the folks at home, they may want to know.
Oh yeah. So we still have a perfect sight picture, even with the grenade sight laying up on top. I was kind of concerned that that might be too high and obstruct our sight picture, but it's just right.
Well, perfect. So if you're looking to upgrade your handguards, you want something a little bit more modern looking, check out the Midwest Industries M-Lok Handguards. They feel really nice on the hand. You don't have the clumpy, scratchy quad rails to scratch up your little sissy hands. And you know, you can put a vertical grip on there, an AFG.
You can put your lights, your lasers, whatever kind of accessories you want on there with the M-Lok, and you don't have the protrusion. The beauty of the M-Lok is it's actually a lot slimmer too, so you don't have a big fat handguard like you would with a quad rail handguard, and then have the rough surface. This M-Lok is nice and slim and smooth. There's nothing to snag on any of your gear or anything.
You know, and it's just solid.
Yep.
I mean, there is absolutely no wiggle there.
No, it's a solid setup.
So anyway, for Midwest Industries M-Lok handguard, I'm going to give that 2 Sasquatch thumbs up.
That's right. It's a nice setup.
So as always, folks, hopefully this video was insightful, a little bit entertaining, we hope, and get yourself some handguards.
That's right. Thanks for watching. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the woods.
See you in the woods, or on the water, where there's fishes and the deer and the elk and the buffalo roam. Pew, pew, pew. Woo! I think we're done with that. I think that last one was a wrap.